We are talking to drummer, producer, and incredibly talented Patty Schemmel.
Hi.
Thanks so much for coming in, Patty.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Patty Schemmel was the drummer for not only, people don't realize this, not only Hole, Courtney Love's band, but also Nirvana. They fought over who wanted her.
Well, Kurt and I were friends in bands back in Seattle in like the late 80s, and so we did a lot of jamming together and stuff. So yeah, there was no I was in Nirvana or
So
anything.
how many bands were you kicked out of before you actually?
So
that was amazing.
Yeah, tons.
You
Yeah.
were a heavy drinker. You were a rebel. You were kind of a
drugs.
bad girl.
Yeah, the whole thing.
She made Courtney Love look like look like an angel, right?
Right. Which is quite a difficult thing to do. I did it.
And Patty has a film about her life story that's out right now.
Yeah.
It's called Hit So Hard. You can find information about it at pattydoc.com or hitsohard.com.
How did that even start?
Yes, because we got to actually see that this week. Is an amazing
there was
film.
Incredible footage from I don't even know when. Did you realize you were going to do something like this?
I didn't realize it as I was filming everything. Everybody the bass player in our band, Melissa, would always journal everything, and I'm not like that. I'm not a journaler. So I gotten this Hi8 camera for Christmas, and so I decided I would document the tour and our travels and everything, and that would be sort of my journal. So we started the tour, and I just filmed, backstage stuff, and then I'd hand it off to one of the techs and say, "Can you film the show?" And so over the years, just it all accumulated, and I'd put it in a box on the shelf, and then a friend was like, you should really do something to preserve all that, because that is going to disintegrate. The Hi8, medium is going to totally, go
away.
Yes. So
away.
I spoke to my wife, Christina, and she said, you need to digitize it, and this is what you should do. But here's my friend David, his number. You should call him, and he'll help you. So I called him up, and he was like, come over, and he set up the decks, and then I was like, can you just do it? Because I didn't know, and I was like, I don't want to. And he was looking at it while we were dubbing it and asking questions. And that's how it kind of began, sort of just like that, like him saying, what's this? And well, that's when we were in Australia, and, blah, da, da, da. There's me hugging a koala, And then, there was the funny stuff, and there was the not so funny stuff. What's going on here? Well, I'm passed out,
Yeah. And that's
Sure.
when he was definitely on board for.
Right.
He was like, okay, this needs to be made.
Right. And we were friends, but he didn't know the depth of the story.
And he really went all out. I mean, the movie itself is probably, how much was it before it was actually edited? How long was it?
There was a 4-hour edit. There was 40 hours of tape.
40 hours of tape.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And when you go see it, it's actually only 2 hours, and I felt like it wasn't even enough of, it was a lot of the grunge movement, but not a lot of the heartbreak and kind of almost, for lack of a better term, kind of almost like monster that it kind of, you kind of became because of all of the drug usage and it just like the fall, like the really, really hardcore, sad part, which I was kind of thankful for because I didn't want to cry too much.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, and it is my story from my view of that time. There's so many different, there's so many stories about that time and that scene and those, Kurt and so this was from my perspective, and then eventually my downfall through drugs and and my addiction. And so it's unique to me, and I don't know, that it doesn't cover the usual, it talks about my friend Kurt and the death of Kristen Pfaff and those that didn't make it out.
How old was she when she died?
She was 27.
That's so crazy.
Yeah.
Kristen Pfaff was
And
the
so was
bass
Kurt.
player.
The
for-
original bass player.
Yeah, and so is Amy Winehouse today. That's just, I feel like, in Jimi Hendrix, right?
Yeah, yeah.
I mean,
it's the 27 Club that everybody talks about. It's the Saturn return. Once you turn 27, the universe thrusts upon you, the difficulties.
was it an occurring thought in your head when you were 27?
Not at all.
Okay.
I had no idea. It was just the path that I was on.
Yeah.
Things just, and that's when I became a full-fledged heroin addict, and some of my close friends died of the addiction and the disease, and I made it through. So
Yeah. Can I ask you a question? I really want to know this. Now that you're looking back at your life, do you think that you really, I mean, with all the drug usage and everything, really actually enjoyed being the drummer of Hole?
Yeah, of course, yes. I mean, it's, when I was a kid and I started playing drums at 11, I wanted to, of course, you dream of being a rock star, and you get there, and it, I appreciated it, and I didn't take it for granted. It was really big and special, but it was also really scary too. A lot of stuff happened at an early age, and for somebody like me, when any kind of scary situation comes up, the first thing I do is reach for the alcohol, or so it kind of the rock scene and my drug addiction just were a perfect marriage, for me.
It's got to be a lot of pressure. I mean, bringing you in, especially being a woman and whatnot.
Yeah.
I heard a quick, I don't know if it's a rumor or not, tell me if it's true, but when you were brought into Nirvana, they had like kicked out the old drummer because he wasn't hitting hard enough.
Oh, yeah?
I don't know. Is that true?
I don't know.
Because your documentary is called Hit So Hard.
Right,
so,
right.
I mean, you were
that was something that I'd always made a point to hit hard.
Yeah, and everybody kind of knew you for that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I had something to prove.
Yeah.
Because I was a girl.
You're a girl.
Yeah.
In a superhuman body, I guess.
We'll be back to talk a little bit more to Miss Patty Schummel on La La Land with Brett and Nett. If you have any questions for Patty, go ahead and give us a call, 1-800-336-2225. We'll be back on CRN Digital Talk.